Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TechRaptor podcast. I'm Robert Scarpanito, your features editor.
Andrew Rutten, editor-in-chief.
College Doggett, site founder.
Andrew Stretch, the Colgate editor.
Oh, we're talking
Do you
about
actually use
toothpaste.
Colgate? What do you use?
No, I think I use Crest.
Yeah, see, now I thought it was Crest. That was the joke. We're joking
Yeah.
about one of the billions of games we're talking about this week. But first, I want to say hello to everyone on YouTube staring deeply into our eyes because we're live. We are on video.
Right into them.
Yeah.
That's like a minute it took for you to make it creepy that we're on video now.
I don't have much.
Y'all in
creepy
for a
stuff
wild
to say.
ride.
Yeah. God, okay, I regret
forgot.
saying the eyes thing because now all of you are like deep, like directly into the camera through the soul of YouTube. But yeah, we
I
are
don't want
live.
to look into the soul of YouTube.
Me neither.
That might
We're
be the
live.
scariest.
We're on video. You can see us. I'm moving my hands. So that's what we're going to be doing from here on out. Every week we're going to have video up on YouTube. But of course, if you want to listen to the audio version, you can still download it on whatever podcatcher you're looking for or looking at. And we will, if we ever do anything that's video specific, we will do our best to do audio narration. So that way everyone, no one's missing out on it.
I definitely will not be doing that. But
Well, I will do my best.
uh,
But this week is a pretty big week of news. It felt like E3 snuck up on us in September. It's kind of what it feels like.
was
Huh?
more
People were
E3 than
calling this
E3.
fall E3. Yeah,
Fall 3.
fall 3.
Fall E3.
Yeah.
Fall E3.
I like hot G-Huff summer more.
Mm. Yeah, we have a
Cool
packed
G-Hoff Autumn.
cool G-Hoff Autumn.
G-Huff
Cool.
was involved in these.
Cool
We got-
Ranch G-Hoff Autumn.
We got warm and snug inside G-Huff winter coming up.
Mhm. For the Game Awards with your hot
He
cocoa.
He needs to
Yep.
drop a video of him just next to a fireplace, just reading like
The Jeff
Overwatch's.
Kaplan. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
Yeah, same. Yeah, because like a Nintendo Direct happened, a Sony Direct happened, a Ryuga Gotoku Direct happened, a Tokyo Game Show Direct happened for like 5 days or something. Like, there's a lot going on
There was
here.
even an Xbox stream that nobody knew about.
There's even an Xbox stream. Then we also have games we're going to talk about later, like Metal Hellsinger, that Harvestella demo, that Wolong demo. But let's not tarry anymore. Let's get right into Nintendo. Which farming sim of the 20 that were shown are you guys excited for the most?
Yeah, Xbox was JRPGs, and then Nintendo was just farming sims. So
It was just,
Um,
it was like a joke almost. It's like the next one can't be a farming sim, right?
Farming RPG.
take a shot
This
if it's
is-
a farming sim.
This is farming sim with combat. This is farming sim in space. This is farming sim in the future, in the past.
is.
It's like every single
This is
flavor.
Final Fantasy
possibly
farming
need.
sim.
Mhm.
And this is various day life.
Various fucking daylight. I mean, they even brought out Rune Factory 3 special. Like, who
Yeah.
the fuck was asking for Rune Factory 3? And then at the end, they're like, oh, we're also working on a new Rune Factory, which, like, okay, cool. We'll see what that's like. But probably the biggest news to come out of the Nintendo Direct was the last 90 seconds of it, because we got The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, now known as The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, coming to you to a Nintendo Switch near you, May 12th, 2023. That's
Oh,
I'm
boy.
so excited.
that's more than 6 years since Breath of the
True.
Wild.
And we're still on the regular old Switch.
You look happy about that.
The Switch
clearly-
is fine.
Clearly,
Fine.
it's not like they were having any processing issues on the original Switch.
Oh,
So releasing a sequel that has an underground area, a sky area, and a overworld ground area is I
To
can
be
see
fair,
no problem.
first party Nintendo games usually don't have those problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
fair.
Yeah.
Like, especially something as big as Zelda, I highly doubt that they will be happy to be like, yeah, we got some massive frame drops here, but we don't care. I
Mhm.
don't believe it.
I do think that they're going to use the fact that you can move between the different areas as, you know, it's open world, but we're going to
Yeah.
have zones. You know, we saw in the trailer Link holding onto that rock as it ascended into the sky. That's the equivalent of like a Resident Evil loading zone in an elevator.
Yeah, or like a Dead Space elevator, right? It's totally that. Yeah.
So I'm hoping that that's kind of their shortcut to make everything look more grandiose,
Mhm.
while while it won't be as intensive to the system.
Yeah.
I mean, I have faith that Breath of the Wild is still like one of the top few like good looking games on the Switch to this day. It was, you know what I mean? So,
Which is crazy because it's a launch title.
yeah, I mean, it's still one
And
of
a
the
Wii U game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think Tears of the Kingdom is gonna come out on Wii U too? Like, you think they'll announce that maybe like a month or so before? Just
Well, I mean, Just Dance isn't going to be released on the Wii anymore, so fucking cats are
That's right,
chasing
end of an
dogs.
era.
Who knows what's going to happen now?
yeah. Yeah, I think Tears of the Kingdom, it has pretty big shoes to fill, right? Because like Breath of the Wild is still one of the best games ever, like a pretty widely considered that. And I don't know if a sequel is going to be able to top it, or just there's going to be a lot of expectations going into it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
As long as you can still do super goofy shit to like launch
Yeah.
yourself across the map, everybody's cool.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
those
there'd be
videos rule.
weapon degradation still be part of it, durability.
I mean, now it's also, you know, launch yourself into the sky to land on islands
true.
or something, right?
Everybody's
I
favorite
wonder-
Zelda is coming to this one, Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
I wonder how broken it's going to immediately become. I'm going to assume that there will be a whole bunch of, you know, the same kind of glitches you can pull off with the similar engine.
Yeah.
So,
I
people
wonder if,
will be
like-
doing boomy zoomies on day one and like skipping across half the map for fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like
Yeah.
how much that verticality is going to screw with like just getting places, because like if you can glide somewhere, if you get really high and just glide to anywhere you want, basically, that's going to make things wild.
For sure. And then Nintendo also opened that direct up with the Fire Emblem Engage trailer, the Crest sponsored, Pepsi sponsored Fire Emblem Heroes.
Pepsi Man
Core.
is now in Fire Emblem.
Yes. And Pepsi Woman.
Oh well, I mean, Pepsi Man was ambiguous. You didn't know. They just called him Pepsi Man.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Anyone can be Pepsi Man.
Yeah. I know that we have a few people on staff that are very excited about Fire Emblem Engage. I am also
But
excited.
None of them are on this podcast. Let's move on.
Well, I am also excited for it. Excuse you.
What was in the
I-
trailer that leapt out to you?
Yeah.
So what first leapt out to me is I thought this was a Fire Emblem Heroes 2 announcement, which I would have been so sad about.
Yes.
But you know, it just looks like another mainline Fire Emblem game, and I'm always here for that because since, you know, Awakening, Fire Emblem's been pretty good for the most part. I've only missed a few of them, and you know, I think that like it's fun to just jump into a Fire Emblem game and just enjoy it. And I'm kind of digging that so far Engage doesn't look like you need to play it 4 times to get the full story, which I am
It's
okay with,
important.
That would be
because
good.
to get the full 3 houses story, you need to like sink 200
Don't you
hours into
think
that.
you're
and-
gonna probably need to play this twice, right? The red hair story and the blue hair story. Do you think
It's
they
like
have
a
one-
morality system.
Yeah,
like,
one
the
fights
more-
for dominance.
The more evil shit you do, just like
more
the
red.
red part
Yeah.
begins to take over.
And if you go the neutral route, it turns purple.
Yeah. Well, what I really hope is at some point your character goes Super Saiyan because, you know, Byleth gets green hair partway
True.
through 3 houses. So I'm hoping this is like some sick, gross color scheme.
What? There's a Super Saiyan subplot in 3 houses?
I mean,
It's not really
It's
super.
not quite Super Saiyan. It's not like he sits there and screams and then his hair grows green.
Yeah, it's more like they unlock their true potential and then
That's
their
right.
hair turns
Okay.
green. So like this could, I
like
hope this
he
has something
evolves.
similar. Yeah.
He's evolution.
Mhm.
Oh man,
Yeah.
if it's really like a duality, like morality system thing, that's gonna be fucking hysterical.
Well,
It's gonna be fun.
didn't one of those leaked things? I can't remember if this trailer showed it. Like, wasn't there like one of the characters was a woman who had like really long red and blue hair? Wasn't that also
I
Oh
think
yeah, well, because you can choose a man or a woman.
There you go.
Yeah, I think that was the
yeah.
female version.
I
of
would
the
just love instead of
protagonist.
the color getting more, just one side gets longer. One side of hair.
Yeah, that'd be wild.
a literal growing bar.
Yeah, I don't know. Engage also does kind of feel like a pretty weak name to me. I kind of get that. I think they're going
does.
for like, because you know the ring is their power. I'm guessing like what you get engaged to Marth is. I guess that's the idea.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Um,
You get all the heroes from various other Fire
Old
Emblems.
ones. Yeah,
They,
the legendary ones.
they took a lesson from World of Final Fantasy's book to just like let you summon the characters that you want to see on screen.
Yeah, it's kind of like Tokyo Mirage Sessions, like sort of like
Yeah.
that, but less
Yeah. Ah, I forgot
demonic
that was a thing.
interpretations, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pokemon, but Fire Emblem characters.
Well,
Marth is
that's just heroes.
Marth's
Yeah,
a pretty
that's
good
true.
Smash guy, Smash character.
Yeah, he's my
That
favorite
Smash
Smash.
representation is coming to Fire Emblem.
I hope one of the rings is just like Solid Snake.
This is already a better game.
Yeah,
What we just talked about.
yeah, and that's coming on January 20th, so it's pretty soon. Like
Oh,
not.
I didn't realize I
that
had
far
that
off.
release date.
Yeah, it did. It's like
Wow.
really close. And I think, yeah, that's like the week before the Dead Space remake.
Eh.
Yeah.
Plenty of time. I mean, that seems like somewhat different audiences.
Yeah, for
Little
sure.
bit.
Like there, there will be overlap, but probably not as much as them fucking violently ejecting farming games month after month after month.
That's a phrase to describe that.
Violently ejected.
Please slow down.
Yeah.
That's what Sam was
for
doing
my
at
sake.
E3 one year.
And then a month after Fire Emblem Engage, we will get Octopath Traveler 2. Project Octopath 2 is upon us on February 24th. You get 8 characters, and
8 new ones.
yeah, I think, and they have 8 new stories, and they have more class skills. I got like day and night cycle affects your class skill. This just looks like Octopath again.
Umbreon and
I feel like
Espeon are coming to Octopath.
I feel like a day-night cycle mucking with your skills probably means that you're gonna find some like pattern that you enjoy, and you're just gonna end up like really wanting to go to inns or camp or whatever. It's just like
it's
never
a scheme
see
to
the
have
other
you
time of
spend
day.
all your gold at the inn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can only hope that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just I want something different out of an Octopath game, because I don't remember if we talked about it on the pod before, but my problem with the first game was that it's just like they don't really connect. It's just 8 separate stories, and just you have 7 schmucks that are along for the ride.
Yeah.
And this one, they've said there's more interlinking in the stories. So I'm like, okay, but how much interlinking are we talking? You know?
They just
I wonder if
cross
that's just
paths
gonna-
on the street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
across Octopaths.
I wonder if that's just going to mean that there will be more points that, like, you get to chapter 2 in this person's story and then chapter 4 in this person's story, and then you need to do a joined event before you can then like unlock further paths in their story. But at that
sounds
point,
way more
you're-
interesting than what they did before.
at that point, you're just slowly drawing it back to the idea of a game like Final Fantasy VII, where you, over the course of a giant narrative, you have characters' individual narratives occurring, but
Yeah,
like there is a cohesive plot. It's like they just tried to do. What if we only had a game with JRPG like
loyalty
party
quests.
members, like loyalty and like side quests, and we just didn't have any main hook?
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but then let's make these side stories uninteresting. How about that? That's a recipe for a good game.
Yeah.
That's what they did for the first one.
So we will see if Octopath 2
It's
delivers more. Yeah.
It's better than the first one, hopefully. It still looks amazing. It's still, I love the style.
HD 2D is a fantastic thing that
Pretty
Octopath has brought to the gaming world.
Yeah, and they seem to be at the cutting edge of it. Like the Octopath 2 looked really good.
Oh, agreed. Nintendo also came out swinging and announced the Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core remake reunion thing. They announced the release date for that, December 13, because we knew it was holidays, right?
I'm so excited.
Yep, here we are, December
I cannot
13
wait to play it.
on your Switch.
I'll be on the Switch.
You will?
I don't have a PS5
It's also
God,
coming to
I
like
hate
everything.
you so
or an
much.
Xbox, honestly. Like, I'm so deep into the PC that it's just not even funny.
I forget if it's coming
I
to
want to say
PC
that
or
it's
not.
also
but-
on PC.
I don't
Is it actually?
is it? Maybe.
The Final Fantasy VII remake was delayed.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like a
7
year
remake
after
was.
or whatever.
Yeah, that was specifically for the PS5 at the time. I know Crisis Core is coming out on
Windows.
multiple.
How deep
coming to
into
Windows.
PC are you, Rhett? Were you
TD.
sad? Were you sad your favorite website was just shut down and then reopened?
My favorite.
Crisis Core Reunion is coming to Windows, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series X and S.
I
Someone
need to
will
know
know.
what website this is.
Someone will know what I'm talking
I
about.
don't, are you referring? I thought you
Let's
were
just
going to pull
ignore
the
him.
EVGA thing.
No, just keep going.
Okay.
Let's just ignore them, guys.
Yeah.
Please
Crisis
type
Core.
it in the podcast chat because I need to know.
No, let us in the comments below if you know what Otten's fucking talking
Yeah.
about. Throw it in there.
If you can figure it out.
What website would a true capital G gamer be upset about the happenings recently? Anyway, next.
I'm insulted, sir.
Okay,
If
so
it's what I think you're talking about.
oh my god, guys. Right, it's coming to PC.
Right.
Is
You're
it
welcome.
good?
Core.
Well, good.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah,
Those,
Crisis
you
Core.
and your buddies will have something to do now with all that free time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Crisis Core is coming. I never played this one back in the day, so I had no context about who Zach is and all of that. Just had to look that up when
Yeah, like why do
without
I care
spoiling
who
much.
this
Like,
guy is?
yeah, when playing Final Fantasy VII, I found out that I needed more context than I
Mhm.
had walking into it. And I imagine the Crisis Core will be that context.
Yeah, I'm
Looks
excited
like
for
it's
it. It's one
copying
of
a lot
those
of the
that.
systems. Go ahead.
It's the, yeah, well, it looks like it's. Someone said like when they played the PS5 because the Tokyo Game Show they had demos that people could play. Like it was the same UI as Final Fantasy VII Remake and all that. But yeah, Crisis Core is one of those I just never got around to because it is only on PSP. I'm sure if it had been on a console, I would have played it. So it will be nice to fill in that the stupid backstory of Final Fantasy VII, of the
Right.
stupid story.
It is one of my favorite Final Fantasy games. It's a lot more. You get more out of it for the story. The gameplay itself isn't as challenging or tedious. The active battles are a lot of fun, and the roulette system gives you some really like hype moments as like you roll a 999 and Bahamut shows up and just bombs everyone on the screen.
Yes.
Nice.
It's going to be really cool to play and to see this game in all its beauty.
Yeah,
It's been
and all-
super frustrating that it's been locked behind PSP for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy that they didn't at least even do some kind of port anywhere else till now.
Well, there was rumors for the longest time that it was all getting held up because of the Genesis model and actor, and I think he contributed to the soundtrack to the actor Gact, and whether they had a similar kind of legal dispute the same way that we're not getting like any more Judgment games because of all of the shit that went on with that talent. So like kind of that was the rumor for the longest time, but then like days before this Crisis Core remake was announced, like Gact accidentally early posted to his Instagram like a photo of him in full Genesis cosplay, which fucking hyped everyone up. But that's probably part of the reason why just because there's probably some like large licensing that needs to go with that.
We should just abolish law. It just seems to fuck everything
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, no more law ever.
Yeah, it impedes these video games. I
The
can't have
most important thing in the world, video games.
right.
If we abolished law, imagine how many shitty bloatware Mario games would flood the PlayStation store.
Yes, market competition. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Nintendo needs some competition. Yeah, they need
True
more.
capitalism.
That's right. It solves everything.
Yeah.
Thanks, I hate it.
And the last thing that we think worth highlighting from the Nintendo Direct, Bayonetta, just as a reminder, that's coming out October 28th. They had another reveal trailer for that, or not reveal, but just another trailer. It's pretty soon. That's like about a month
Yeah.
for some Bayonetta action once again. Probably the most out of place Nintendo IP.
Yeah. It does not feel like it should belong to Nintendo at all.
Nope. Yeah, but I played a bit of it at PAX. and we can talk about that now because they had an embargo until a little like mid last week. Yeah, it slaps. If you're excited if you liked Bayonetta 1 and 2, you will like 3.
It seemed pretty fucking rad.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny that they've got Bayonetta where, you know, you use a special attack, summon a demon, and then Bayonetta's in the back in like a thong made out of hair or like a mankini made out of hair, dancing and stuff. But then we later heard at TGS from the Like a Dragon developers that they weren't sure that their games would fit well on the Switch because they didn't want to ruin the image of the Switch. And it's like there's two different conversations happening here.
Well, they're adding that like family friendly version to Bayonetta 3, right? Where
have they got that one as well?
Yeah, where her hair clothes stay on even when she summons demons.
I guess that's smart.
Yeah.
Self-censorship has gone too far.
It's just an option. You can toggle it. But yeah, in 3 you can like summon the demons at will now. Like you don't have to like wait for a cutscene or a QTE segment. You just summon the demons and they like fight.
Yeah.
Like and you control them.
And they told us when we were there, they're like, you can basically do this at any time, anywhere.
Yeah, I think it's like tied to a meter, but like
yeah. But it's also not just for big story moments.
You control the monster, but like Bayonetta is left a sitting duck.
Yes. So you become more vulnerable, but you get huge AoE damage. So it's a trade-off.
Everything about it seemed rad. At one point, the big dragon thing was using boats as skates on the water.
Yes.
As water skis, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, the quadrupedal, I think it was Gamora, like falls down from a building, lands in a river, and uses 4 human boats as shoes to stay afloat on the water, because that makes sense. And chase the monster.
Wood floats.
And then they like jumps off at the end, and there's the classic anime thing where they're coming together in slow motion, like getting ready to punch each other in the face.
Good old cross counters. Oh, so I hear you saw the Tekken 8 trailer.
Oh, which one? The Tekken? Do you mean the Tekken 5 trailer where they cross counter, or the Tekken 6 trailer where they cross counter, or the Tekken 7 trailer where they cross counter?
The number,
I'm noticing a trend.
I remember being in high school, walking into a game store and seeing like a sick, like full size statue on the floor of like the Tekken 5, like big cross counter moment that happened for Jin and Kazuya. I cannot believe that is the only way that they have figured out to ever show off a trailer.
I mean, it's a pretty rad trailer.
It was. Yeah, because this is what opened we're talking about the Sony Direct now, the PlayStation State of Play, as it's legally called. They opened up with a reveal of Tekken 8. Where Kazuya and Jin are fighting once more, again.
And just set aside the differences and move on?
Because both of them are bad people.
Do you know the lore? Do you know why they're fighting? Okay,
one of them might kill his child or something.
Well, no, Kazuya is the one who got thrown off a cliff many times.
I do that.
His dad hates him, and then he throws his dad off a cliff, and then his dad comes back, because of course he does. But no, so Kazuya is Jin's dad, and Kazuya is the new head of the Mishima Corporation, which like does some bad shit. So Jin's like, as revenge, I'm gonna commit worldwide genocide. Because he wants to get rid of the devil gene, because he's a devil. Kazuya is like the OG devil. So to kill the devil gene, he has to do genocide, which makes sense.
Didn't Kazuya get it from his grandfather, Jinpachi?
Jinpachi was the OG devil, and then Kazuya can turn into a super devil, and then Jin turns into like a weird angel / devil thing. But it looks like in the trailer he has a lot more control over that now, so maybe like Devil Jin will be a stance or something for Jin in the gameplay. I don't know.
To a separate character.
Yeah, but yeah, so they're fighting again in a volcano because Jin won in Tekken 7, so now Kazuya's fighting back in Tekken 8, I guess. I don't know. That's as much as I know about story.
Like last minute and a half is the perfect encapsulation of why people love video games and why people fucking hate them. like someone's listening to that like that was the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard, and then there's a bunch of us who are like, that's fucking rad.
Well,
Yeah.
they just released that Tekken anime on Netflix as well.
Oh yeah, Bloodlines.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that I'm halfway through, and it's been really fun. And that like centers
I do
on
like the Resident Evil show, too.
The second King of Iron Fist tournament, where like Jin showed up for the first time.
Things are more tame.
Yeah, but I dig the Tekken story. It's weird how good the Tekken story is. It's very anime, but it's like a good story that you just don't normally get in a fighting game.
I don't know about that, but like there's a lot of fighting game stories that are fucking nuts. Like Street Fighter is wild. Guilty Gear is absurd. Like, yeah.
That's the only reason I buy a fighting game is I play the story and then put it away.
Yeah, but Tekken 8, we do not have a release window or anything. We just have it's announced, which I guess it was like kind of confirmed at Evo this year, right? Where
That's
they were
true.
like, Tekken 8's on the way. It was just a shot of Kazuya staring at you menacingly.
And
they showed that drop scene again.
Yeah.
Throwing someone off a cliff. That cliff gets a lot of people thrown off for some fucking reason.
Like,
I
I
think
hope the
there's
cliff
just a
is a
line.
cameo character.
some dude's up there. He's like, you got to pay to throw someone off the cliff. There's just a big queue behind him.
See who can throw the
Capitalism.
farthest.
Yeah. But I'm excited for it. I mean, it's been quite a while since Tekken 7. Like, Tekken 7's been around for
forever.
Yeah. Yep. So that'll be cool. PlayStation, well, Sony also spoke more on their new PlayStation Stars loyalty program, the brand new loyalty program where you can get, and I quote, digital representations of things PlayStation fans love.
Definitely not NFTs.
I was watching the direct with a friend of mine, and the first thing that he said as they're like talking about this and talking about the importance of this, that, whatever, my friend on the couch says, "Don't you dare show me an ape. Don't you dare show me an ape." First thing is an ape escape monkey.
Ape escape.
They knew what they're doing.
They knew it.
They 100% knew what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think I'll be able to carry those over to Xbox and then put it in Valorant.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the future of games.
Always.
All right. Then you get the ape escape gun.
Because if you've been paying to gaming news lately, Xbox and Sony are getting along a lot
They're best friends.
about stuff. They're definitely working together on having their sync games on each other's systems.
Agreed.
Definitely not releasing
So-
private conversations.
The NFTs will definitely work like that.
Yep.
Can NFTs be done, please? Like, I think that we're at the end of like crypto.
I think they're with us
almost.
forever. I think NFTs are just part of us now.
We unfortunately have enough people who made money early on that are now fully committed.
Mhm.
I think it's
just
sad.
not
I think
too
it's going to become a catch-all term for like various bullshit like this.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing. This isn't NFTs technically,
No.
Yeah,
but
kinda
it
is.
looks and smells and walks like NFTs. So it's like, yes,
Everyone is holding their breath in case it smells like NFTs too.
yeah, yeah. I can't say I'm all that excited. I mean, I'm not even one for loyalty program garbage like that. Is just
They're mostly
meh.
garbage.
Yeah. So and then like I'm not gonna jump through extra hoops just to get.
Although, remember the Nintendo rewards back in the day? That shit was awesome.
No.
You could turn in points and then you'd get physical shit.
Oh.
They still
do
have
that.
like
You mean like the
not as
OG
much
one?
though. Yeah, I'm talking about like the OG. They used to have a lot more stuff, a lot more often. It felt like
Wait. So you mean you'd get these digital representations, but like
no,
in real life?
that's right.
Interesting.
I could feel it and touch it. I still have a DS game case from them.
Wow.
And stuff like that.
So they did real life NFTs.
That's right. There's Nintendo weirdly ahead of the times.
One of the few times.
Yeah, like the only time.
Probably, I wonder how much of like the planning for Stars was that they saw how much people loved having the room to walk around and collect shit in Astro's Playroom on the PS5.
That was pretty
Like
rad.
when you like earn like the original consoles and game discs and this and that, and that's just like a cool thing to do. And they're like, yeah, we can market this.
I wonder
Yeah.
why they didn't realize that with PlayStation Home then.
I was about to say, are they about to bring PlayStation Home back from?
Why didn't they just do PlayStation
stuff
Home
that's different?
2?
Mhm.
And then you know they'd sell this NFT horse garbage fucking like hotcakes.
yeah.
PlayStation Home 2. Are you kidding me?
100%. How much you want to bet
Imagine
they're
if-
working on that? Like this PlayStation
I bet
Stars
they
thing is
are.
like the first
Could
step,
be.
and then
Imagine if
like
that's just like you boot up your console and it doesn't even boot to a main menu, but like
Into home.
it just boots you into like your character's
God,
representation of a
hellscape.
house, and you can walk over to your closet and that's where all of your data storage is,
Mark
or you can
Zuckerberg pops out of the closet to tell you
You
something.
sit down
about
on
it.
your couch and then it zooms in on the game
yeah, that's the thing. You have to like boot it up into the world, and
Oh,
then you play the
God.
game in the world.
While
what
you're on
that's
your
what,
PSVR
unironically,
2.
what these metaverse fuckers want is this.
Yeah. Mhm.
welcome to
joke,
the
but
Oasis.
Yes,
This-
Somebody's
Ready
going to do it
Player One.
eventually.
Mm-hmm. Stellar Blade, well, formerly known as Project Eve, now it is Stellar Blade. It's that Korean hack and slash game. It's a PS5 exclusive, and we got a trailer for it, and it looks pretty rad. It looks, in the same kind of line as like a Bayonetta Devil May Cry kind of thing. I don't know. I'm
They
excited
had a
for it.
very choice screenshot they used on their Twitter that everybody was having a great time with.
Oh
last
yeah,
week.
which one?
It was just butt. A lot of
Butt.
butt. Yeah. It was
Well,
just a rear shot. Like
Isn't that the near
was like half the
influence we
image,
were
and I was
talking
like-
about?
Mm. The near influence.
Yeah, isn't that?
that's fair. That's a fair point.
Yeah. I mean, it looks pretty cool, and it looks like such a Korean game. Like, there's a certain, I don't know, like art direction that Korean games have. Like, all the characters look very shiny. Yeah.
Mhm. Very well polished.
hmm
Yeah.
Like, even their skin is just like shiny as hell.
Gleaming.
hmm That looks like a lot of fun. It'll be interesting to see, more of that down the line, sometime in 23, right? And then Rise of the Ronin, another PlayStation 5 exclusive, coming from Team Ninja. You get to be a samurai with a gun.
Weirdly, not the only game what we're talking about that's a samurai with a gun. Today.
Yes. I mean, this one's kind of interesting because it has like, if I remember right, this is the one where like the Americans are coming, right? Like,
Yeah,
They-
it looked
they-
like it had like large Western ships showing up on the borders and stuff.
mhm.
When he like jumps off the cliff with the glider, I immediately thought of like Assassin's Creed 2
That's what I was
when
about
he's
to say.
like going over the water, and I was like,
getting the machine from Da Vinci.
from Da Vinci. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So is this going to be, do you think this is going to come out before that Assassin's Creed Japan thing?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because that's the race now, right? It's like,
Yeah.
who's going to do Assassin's Creed in
Who's gonna
Japan?
do
Oh,
it
wait.
first?
Ghost of Tsushima did that.
Already did it.
Oops.
Been there, done that.
Yep.
Is that going to be the next thing, the next genre that everyone's hopping onto, Assassin's Creed, but in an Asian
Yeah.
country?
Yeah. And everyone needs a twist. So Rise of the Ronin's twist, he has a gun.
Yeah, he just fucking shoots people.
He just has a fucking revolver.
It's like, are they gonna have a scene like in Indiana Jones where he's just like fuck it and just shoots him?
Yeah.
I love the story behind that. He was just sick that day, and he's like, I can't do this, and they're like, all right, way better for that.
hmm Yeah, that looked really fucking cool. But also, we're not like the projected
for a
release
while.
Windows
Who
2024.
knows?
Like, yeah, and when it's like that far away,
Long
like
time away.
it could be 2025 for
Yeah.
all we know. You
And
know
what
what I
we
mean?
saw, who knows what it'll look like 2 years from now.
Yeah,
By then,
it's-
the PlayStation will have already had 2 more price increases.
The quality
The
looks
PS5
good for this
Slim.
early, too.
Yeah.
I will say that. Like, it does look pretty solid for this early of showing off. And again, a lot of devs have like custom builds they do for
Yeah.
shows like this, but
Yeah.
if it's anything like from a looks perspective like that, it's gonna be pretty solid. 'Cause It looks really cool.
Yeah, like it does make you wonder about like how much, because like Team Ninja has made a lot of these sorts of games, like hack and slash types. You've got your Neos, you've got Wolong actually coming up pretty soon. So they have a lot of similar systems built out. So you have to wonder like how much of this is like how much do they have the gameplay done, and how much is more like fleshing out the world maybe, because it seems to be open world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. I think Rise of the Ronin could be cool, but still a bit too early to say, right? And then the last thing in the Sony State of Play was, of course, a reminder. Did you guys know that God of War Ragnarok is coming out this year?
I was.
You were
They
aware.
need to
Wow.
stop
Weirdly.
showing it.
Weirdly, I was
I'm
aware.
tired of seeing it. I just want to be playing it.
Yeah.
Like I don't need
Wow.
another trailer showing me
How cool it
more
fucking looks.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Like
looks
I wish
really,
I
but-
hadn't seen a lot of that trailer. I'm like, fuck, that would have been so cool to not have seen.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I saw a lot of people tweeting that they're not even going to watch it
I
because
don't
of
blame
that
them.
exact same reason.
Yeah, I mean, it was
just-
a
it feels
cool
weird.
trailer though.
It was pretty fucking rad.
it feels weird to be like so much of this game is based on these like big set pieces, and I feel like I've fucking seen half of them at this point.
See, I think that's the wrong way to look
Watch,
at it
that's
because
the first 3 hours.
my guess is this is like a lot of that. Like I bet you fight Thor in the first half.
Oh, that's
for
gonna
sure.
be the well, based
Like,
on how
oh,
the
yeah,
ending
that's
of the
gonna
first
be-
it's gonna be the first thing you do.
Oh yeah,
Which is
that's
like
true,
even
yeah.
I guess we've seen content with them without Fafnir the Wolf. The cool scene of them meeting Fafnir the Wolf, and then them doing stuff with Fafnir the Wolf. We've also seen them going out and trying to search for the old god of war, finding him, and then fighting with him. And it's like these are large story beats. Like it might just be like the first couple of story beats, but they're still like weirdly large story beats to be shown in trailer after trailer.
Can't wait to fight Thor, man.
yeah, dude. The shot at the end where they both throw the axe and the hammer at each other and it
Pretty
clashes. Like, yeah, that's like some Dragon Ball shit, and
Pretty rad.
I'm super here for it.
Power clashes.
Mhm.
Pretty good.
Yeah, so that's gonna be exciting. And of course, the boy shoots the moon or the sun too. So
He
that's-
does,
He does.
and it's a very cool shot in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Looks neat.
This is probably like one of the most like Hollywood video game trailers I've seen in a while. Like
Very
this feels like
much.
it's for a movie almost.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
guess that the one before that would have been an Uncharted trailer. So
yeah, yeah.
I mean, if there's any game that can dethrone Elden Ring this year, that's kind of the one that has the only shot.
Hmm. I agree.
Tunic would beg to differ.
No,
I don't disagree with you necessarily, honestly. I
Yeah,
think it's
no, I
worth
know.
being in the conversation, but Elden Ring is kind of
Yeah,
I mean, that's
that one's
a
gonna be everyone's love child.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some other news out of Japan. Ryuga Gotoku, the studio behind the
best game
formerly
series of all
known as Yakuza series. I think now they're really sticking with like these are going to be called Like a Dragon because that's
Yeah.
what
Isn't that what it's
Ryuga
called in
Gotoku
Japan?
did.
Yeah.
Ryuga Gotoku is Like a Dragon, or like roughly that. So across the past week, we now know that Like a Dragon Ishin is coming, a remake of it. That's the other samurai with a gun game where you play as not Kiryu, who meets not Majima,
Yeah.
and not
They
like
may
it's
look
Kyoto,
exactly the
not-
same.
yeah, but like Kyoto times. It was like what 1840s or something.
Something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Um,
Sometime when you can have a revolver and a katana in the hands,
mhm.
whenever that is.
Yeah, so
Be
that's
fair,
that's
that's any
basically
time.
That's true.
true.
I'm sure there's a lot of people present day that will be very proud to show off their katana and gun collection to you.
Mm.
I've mentioned that
I-
group earlier.
I-
Rut, do you want to show us your?
You want to go get yours out of the other room?
So that Ishin remake is coming February 21, 2023. It's
Oh, I'm
pretty,
so excited for it. It should
pretty
be fun.
soon. Yeah. Like, dude, that game is gonna be so good because it's basically like the Like a Dragon games you played. Like it's the real time brawler type things, but set in samurai times with a
Yeah.
gun. Like
We'll see what kind of weird shit happens then.
even modern day Kiryu doesn't use a gun that much.
No.
Yeah, what are they gonna do for? What are they gonna do when I have a hankering for karaoke? I just
Oh, there
What?
will be something like that there.
Yeah, honestly, if there's anything where I'm like, I was watching this trailer, I'm like, okay, but where's the real shit? Like, where's the actual
that's
stuff
exactly
you're
what I
gonna
was
do?
Where's the I know
here's the
this-
dumb shit that I can
I
do
don't
on the
care
side
about
for
the
fun.
brawling. That's like my least favorite part of any of these games. I want the
Yeah.
other shit.
The real stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, the brawling also looks fun. It's
it's fine.
nice to have a little twist with the
I
sword.
like
and
the
all that,
idea
but
of slapping someone with a sword and then shoot him in the fucking face as Kiryu. Seems all right to
Mhm.
me.
yeah.
It's a good
But,
thing you
yeah, I
said
was
as
like-
Kiryu at the end there.
In real life, I would like to do that to some people too.
Interesting. You were looking directly at Rut for that one. Yeah.
I hate it when daddy and daddy fight.
Oh. We're not talking about God of War
Weirdly,
Ragnarok
you're like
anymore.
that's the fourth person that said that to me recently. Called me that.
Oh.
Anyway,
Oh,
just a thought I had.
What?
Sounds like you had a fun Friday night.
He was playing My Summer Education on his PSVR.
Last night it was Big Daddy though.
mm. Mm-hmm.
True
Playing,
story.
This is not
playing
getting
Bioshock
better.
2? You're playing
Whoa.
Bioshock 2, right? That's what you're talking
No.
about, right? No?
It was a cop.
What? Whoa, hold on. What?
You play you play Grand Theft Auto Online?
No, this didn't happen in the NFT world. It happened in the opposite of NFT world.
Oh, it's not in the metaverse.
No.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway,
So like your Dragon Ishin, you can call people daddy in the game, I guess.
Daddy Kiryu.
Daddy Kiryu, slicing people up and shooting them down. That's February 21. Super excited for that. And then, so going back to modern day, if you are not following Like a Dragon, basically 0 through 6 is Kiryu's story. And then they're like, Kiryu's done. 7 is a new guy named Ichiban. And then at this Ryuga Gotoku summit, they were like, just kidding. So
Kiryu's back.
Kiryu's back. So first they have Ryuga Gotoku Gaiden, Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, TM. That's
Fantastic. Is this going to be a Western Kiryu? I mean, Western as in a Western movie, like Clint Eastwood.
yeah, well, because he's becoming a monk, right? Like
I don't know.
he's in a
I
temple.
don't
he's
know
in-
how Kiryu's story ends. I've deliberately not wanted to know because I'm playing through all the games. So I don't know where 6 ends.
Without spoilers, he tries to disappear. Like he truly tries to erase his
Yeah.
name. So this is
that
like
fits. That fits for what I know of Kiryu.
yeah, so here he's like trying to, like, I guess we're seeking how he's trying to erase his name. He's like training under a monk or something. But then some guy comes in and is like, I got another job. And it has very much like, I keep trying to give up, but they pull me back in kind of feeling, you know?
Oh, shit. Here we
Sometimes
go
those-
again.
yeah, those are
Which is the
best.
like that's the beginning of Yakuza 4, 5, and 6, I
Yeah.
feel like. Like it's always he's done with the life and then something pulls him
Well,
back
I mean,
in.
that starts like almost immediately with like 2. So I'm playing
Yeah.
through 2, and that's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm done with this. He's like, but there's something, there's unfinished business.
Mhm. Exactly. So that's what this feels like. But I think I remember reading somewhere that Gaiden is going to be like a shorter, like it's not going to be as big of a Like a Dragon game, because it's kind of bridging the gap between 6, where Kiryu drops off allegedly, and then 8, where they also showed a short Like a Dragon
that's
8
right.
trailer, and it's Ichiban walking down Kamurocho, and then next to him, Kiryu with the very interesting haircut walks right next to him.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't
He's
know
got
if it really
the
fits
Trunks
Kiryu.
haircut.
Yeah, he's got like a K-pop haircut is how
I'd
I've been
say
describing
he's
it.
got a K-pop haircut. Yes.
Yeah, it's like gray K-pop haircut.
It kind of
and-
looks like the old Justin Bieber cut.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, at first I thought this like the idea was Ichiban's picking up the torch. He's the new face of the Like a Dragon
That's what it felt
series.
like.
Yeah, but now it doesn't quite
Who
seem like
knows?
that.
I mean,
But I
don't
mean-
you want to see Kiryu do some weird shit in turn-based though?
100%, yeah. And I think that's the thing, right? Is that with Like a Dragon 7 and onward being a turn-based like Dragon Quest style party combat thing, like
Yeah.
I think it could actually work where you have 2 central protagonists in a Like a Dragon game, because they're both like they can both be party members, right?
True.
They've actually said that each person will have their own parties.
Oh,
So it's
weird.
probably like narratively,
So it's gonna
there
be
will
like
be
0.
times that you are one party and times that you are the other party.
Oh,
Oh
weird.
my god, wait, does that mean we're gonna see Majima in a K-pop haircut, dude?
Yes.
It'll
It
yeah.
actually
I
fits
mean,
way more with him.
Yeah,
It
right?
makes way more sense if he had that haircut.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
that was one of the weirdest things that I read about it, that it was like, you know, it's not just that you've got, you know, these 2 are 2 central members of a single party, but like no, everyone like has their own party. It'll
correct.
probably mean that we'll see returning characters from Like a Dragon with Ichiban, but then we'll also see returning characters with Kiryu.
Oh man, that's
Beautiful.
kind of exciting. I wonder. Do you think they're going for like a Last of Us 2? Like they're against each other, like quest for revenge.
Who fucking get?
You
Oh
play
no, is
through-
Majima the one that gets fucking clubbed? No, no.
Ichiban accidentally kills him at some point or something.
So curious.
You get to play through the.
down.
They do it like It Takes Two or what was that other Faris game? But it's like
A Way Out.
Yeah,
yeah, you play it with your friend and like one person is Kiryu the whole time and one person is Ichiban the whole time, and then at the end you guys have to fight each other,
beautiful.
and then like
That would
shifts the dynamics.
Beautiful.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
hope
that'd
it's
be
that.
interesting.
So good. If I don't want Majima to die, but it would be fucking funny.
Well, here's the thing: he would die and then
He would
come
come
back. He would come back. Yeah,
Everybody would think he was dead, but he's like, that can't kill me, Kiryu. I'm tougher
It'd be
than
like
that.
the Sergeant Johnson from Halo. Like they could kill Majima in every game and just have him walk in the door fresh at the beginning of the next one, and no one would fucking question it. They'd just say,
100%.
"Okay."
Yeah.
He'll survive anything.
Exactly. But I am so excited for Like a Dragon 8. That's like not until 2024. But again, when it's that
It
far
gives
out,
me
who
Time
knows?
to catch up on the games. I'm still making my way through them.
Well, because they had all of that, and then they also dropped Judgment and Lost Judgment on
Yeah.
Steam
PC,
like
yeah.
12 hours later. It's just fans of Ryuga Gotoku are fucking eating nice.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
a
pretty
good
sweet to
time to
have-
be a Western Like a Dragon
Yeah.
fan.
It's pretty sweet to have a lot of these games on PC because a lot of like Japanese devs haven't done that. Like it's still a weird porting. They're not really doing it, and they've embraced it completely. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Sega's really pushing it because, like, I mean, the
Yes.
Persona games are coming into PC, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's nice to see. And like the beautiful thing too about these games is like they're so deep and broad that you could play one Like a Dragon game for like 3 months.
Yes.
And that could be like your only game,
There's
and
a
you would
lot.
still find stuff to do. And then you have 8+ more to go through after one, you know? Like, it's crazy how much content these games have. And to know that there's even more on the horizon, like,
Amazing.
so
Makes it
excited.
even more amusing that Otten thinks he'll catch up by 2024.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Like-
almost through with 3 of them. I'm almost through the 3rd one.
Nice.
Not Yakuza
Well,
3, but
And
So
how long has
How's
that
the
taken
second
you?
too?
Yeah.
we don't need to talk about that. I've played other games in between.
I will say, I think for Like a Dragon 8 and maybe Gaiden, I think Like a Dragon 7 is the one you have to play if you really are
yeah,
invested in the story, because that seems like a direct continuation. Because at least from 6 to 7, there's enough separation where you can start with Ichiban's
Yeah.
story.
Well, I think that's where Gaiden's meant to be. The man who erased his name is meant to tell the story after
Between
6
them.
into 7 or into
Right.
8. Yeah.
Yes,
See what Kiryu's been up to.
right.
Because, we haven't had enough of him yet. And I haven't.
Yeah.
If Kiryu's with me till I die and they're still making Kiryu games, I'll be happy.
Hmm. Exactly.
Kiryu's the best.
Yeah, because like a Dragon 6, I mean, you do kind of need to know how it ends, but also it kind of ends similarly to a lot of the other
all
games
of them
where
end with like,
Kiryu wants to not
Yes.
be with this life anymore.
I'm not
it's
a
just
Yakuza anymore. I'm out of the game.
it's just a little more definitive in 6, which is why I think it felt like a clean cut to be like a Dragon 7, whole new character and all that. So yeah,
Anyway, all I'm saying is John Wick wishes he was Kiryu. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
Fighting words.
Yeah, I mean, Kiryu doesn't kill people, but he will stab someone in the chest with a knife and then knee them right
Yeah,
on the
he's
knife
Batman.
to drive it further in.
So that's very Batman.
Yeah,
That
he's just
doesn't kill
Batman.
them. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
He's just knocking people unconscious all the time.
exactly.
He's got morals, man.
Hmm. I mean, he really
Actually-
does, though.
He actually is extremely principled.
Yes. It's like, that's the reason he's the driving force in the whole
Yes.
game. Yeah. Yeah, Ryuga Gotoku fans, Like a Dragon fans, rejoice. We have
times.
so much to
Good
look forward
times.
to, right? Well, let's get into some games we've been playing now that we haven't talked about all the announcements, but these are the ones that we just wanted to. And now let's just talk about some games or things we've been consuming. And we'll start with an anime. Auden, do you want to talk about Cyberpunk Edgerunners, the new Netflix show?
Oh, I guess. I mean, I haven't seen all of it. You have, I think.
I have. Yeah.
I've almost seen all of it. It feels weird.
Good
to watch
yes
anime.
anding. I want to take this moment to really congratulate Otten on his yes anding. Do you want to cover this that we've agreed to cover?
I guess.
Well, yes.
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess so.
Would you like to talk about the lolly?
That's what everybody else is talking about. I don't really give a fuck.
What?
It's anime.
Okay, so there's a lolly character in it, and apparently at first there's like this interview with some
It's a pretty funny
CDPR people.
story, yeah.
It's pretty funny because the CDPR folks were like, yeah, on the there was the one thing that on the creative team we voted to not have Rebecca, who is like a short petite girl, like not be in the show because lollies don't belong in Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
And Studio Trigger, the anime studio, was like, the lolly stays.
And that was like they couldn't budge from that point. It
No,
was
the lolly stays.
no
What
argument.
a weird hill to die on.
Yep. I mean, she's a cool character, though. I do like her.
alright.
And, yeah, I mean, she's like kind of a fan favorite too. Like, I think a lot of people on Twitter are really liking her.
She's might be my least favorite because it feels like the most tropey character of the crazy little girl that does, you know what I mean? That does
Yeah.
the crazy out of character stuff. Oh my god, can you believe this little girl just did that? Kind
She's
of thing.
like
That's in
crazy
anime all the
queen.
time.
Fantasy girl.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I know what you are. Like, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
The story
I know
I like.
what you
I don't like anime at all. Hardly. There's very few
Mhm.
that I like. I do not like many anime tropes. If I see many of them, I'm out hard immediately. Well, okay, that's bad phrasing. But
Still doing phrasing?
Cyberpunk Edgerunners is pretty great. I think it's weird. I think I've seen the sentiment a lot is that it feels like a better introduction to the setting than the game.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is that it starts small and then gets big. Like, you're just getting the daily life of this kid who lives there. Where like in the game, you're like, oh my, we're breaking into Arasaka Tower, like right fucking away, and like just big shit's happening, and you don't get a time to really immerse yourself in the world until you're doing a bunch of stuff.
Right.
But it's nice central story. I think it's moving very quickly too. The story is moving a little too fast for me. I'm like, all right, we're like, I have not seen much of David's development for the shit he's doing. Like,
Mhm. I mean, it's only 10 episodes, right?
yeah, that's
So
the
they
thing.
got-
It's just like the pace of the plot is pretty breakneck.
Mhm.
A lot of things happening.
And you said it's Trigger, right?
Studio Trigger, yeah.
It's beautiful. It's a great looking show. It's
Yeah,
the animation, it's all good.
Like animation wise, there are some things that are, this is probably some of the best Studio Trigger's done. There's a lot of it that reminds me of Gurren Lagann, which like I know wasn't Studio Trigger technically, but it kind of is,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks great.
How many Kamina poses were there?
Maybe one.
Okay.
Maybe.
That's what, well, now Gynax now?
Yeah. Well, because there's like the final episode, it's a big fight, which is pretty on brand for Trigger, and just the way that fight is animated is
Something to look
it's
forward to.
really good. Really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love the world. I love the little nods to the game that show up every once in a while. You can definitely recognize locations from the game in the show.
Mhm.
I heard there's a great joke about police appearing out of nowhere.
Out of
Yep,
thin air.
they appear out of thin air, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like the game.
That, and I love all the little like UI stuff that seems the same. Like when a call comes in, it's the same sound, and the little thing with like them calling you, it's all the same. It looks the same.
Hmm.
But it fits naturally. It's not like, aha, that's a video game thing. It's just like, no, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Um,
And you have
it's
people,
good
you know,
stuff.
it's like really not bad for what I expected it to be. I almost thought it would be kind of but you know, it's pretty good. I dig it. Like
it's enjoyable. Like it's crazy shit happens, and
mhm. Like I mean, some people are going as far as saying it's like anime of the year. I can't say I've like watched enough anime this year to like definitively say that, but it is pretty entertaining. Very gory, very
Pretty, yeah.
sexual. I mean, it's cyberpunk, right? Like there's got to be titties or else it's not edgy enough. So yeah.
I mean, too fair. I think of only like the very first episode do they really like make a joke about it, play into it. Otherwise, it's just sometimes people are naked.
Mhm.
That's kind of it.
Sometimes
Yeah.
people be like that, you know?
Yeah,
Sometimes people be naked.
People are.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, it's pretty cool. I like the animation they do because like the main character gets a
that looks pretty sweet.
cyberware enhancement, which makes him basically the Flash, like he can move fast. So whenever they're doing scenes from his point of view, everything else slows down for him, and the animation they do is really cool. It's like
pretty sweet.
it's like color graded, but like you see frames of his animation like trail back as he's running forward or whatever.
Yeah.
But then sometimes they then replay the scene, but in quote real time, and it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like the Days of Future Past scene from what's his name? Quicksilver.
Oh yeah, but then
You get to,
Apocalypse like turns his eyes a bit.
Yeah, you get to see everything happen in slow motion, and then it does it all real time.
Yeah, it's similar to that. So it's pretty cool. And the characters, they surprisingly grow on you. At first I thought like,
They
these
do.
characters, whatever.
I think the main character in particular is pretty endearing because his story is a pretty, I don't know, it is pretty
It's
common.
tragic.
Like what
Yeah,
happens to me, it's not an unusual story for a main character background to have. And his personality is pretty easy to grab onto because he's just like so endearing, wants to fit in.
Yeah.
That's kind of it.
He's very
He wants
earnest.
to fit in with some fucking crazy people, but he wants to fit in.
Sounds peak anime.
Pretty much.
Outcast trying to make his way.
It is. It's very peak trigger. It's
I do
very
like how
much
like with Cyberpunk, there's very much corp over street kid is like seems to be the main tension, and he is the embodiment of that tension.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think they did a pretty good job of that about fitting that into the Cyberpunk world.
But then he kind of becomes his own thing, especially like
He does, and it's very early on that's the case, but he changes and grows to his own thing.
yeah, and like halfway through the show, there's like a little time skip where he changes even more. It's pretty good. Would recommend. Rut, you've been headbanging in hell. You've been playing Metal Hellsinger.
It fucking slaps. Like this.
It's not good for this game.
Alex liked it too, so
I guess
usually-
broken clocks right twice a day or whatever they said.
Wow, yeah. His review is up on our site if you would like to take a
yeah, we
quick
did
peek.
give it a 9 out of 10. But I mean, I played the demo, the level that was in the demo, probably, I don't know, 30, 40 times, just over and over again. The music's phenomenal, and the way that they layer things. So like you just kind of start in the level with just kind of a beat, and that's it. And then as you start killing, as you start kind of mowing through demons, then it adds a little bit more. And then you hit like max fury, and then the vocals come in. And then if you lose your fury, you lose the vocals, you lose that kind of second layer. So the better you do, the more it just everything clicks.
And think of it like a combo score multiplier thing.
And there's a hit score. There's also kind of the fury, which fury builds up with kills. As long if you hit the beat perfect, it continues to charge, and you max out at like 16, and then everything's just flying from there.
Is it similar to what was that game, like beats per minute? What was that game? There was a shooting.
BPM.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it something like that?
similar. Yeah, I mean, there's the UI that's coming in with the arrows, and you're trying to hit it right, perfect. I've seen a couple people on Twitter say turn that off, and then just keep your own metronome, which I can see. Sometimes it is a little distracting. And I really do kind of, I mean, I'm like tapping my foot along to the beat the whole time.
You kind of have to, right?
Yeah, you kind of have to, but I knew I would like it. I didn't realize I would like it this much. Like,
You should get one of
the
those.
music is phenomenal.
You should get one of those Elgato foot pedals and hook it up to the left mouse button.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just keep the beat like a drummer and just stay shooting.
Hell yeah. And
Well, 'cause
like everything pulses too. So like with the beat, the enemies pulse, the flame pulses. Like at one point I just stopped to see everything that was just pulsing with the beat. And I thought that was a cool kind of addition to say everything in this world is on the beat.
Yeah. Because I played BPM too, the game that you brought up earlier on, and I think Hellsinger just hits the right notes, pun not intended, better. Because with Metal Hellsinger, you can still shoot your gun off the beat. It's just not powerful, right? But you can still feel your like you still feel yourself do something. Whereas with BPM, from what I remember, you couldn't do it unless it was on the beat, which makes it feel like a worse shooter. Like as a shooter, it feels like you don't have control. Whereas here with Hellsinger, you have control over everything you do. You just need to do it at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's spot on. And like, they brought in some powerful artists for this one. I mean, like, you're talking like the top tier vocals in metal. And all of the music itself was produced by, it looked like one group. I can't remember what the name of it is.
Two Rivers or something like that.
It's two something. But it's just like each layer is just phenomenal from a just catchiness too. Like I don't think there was a single song that wasn't just an absolute banger.
Like for me, I like metal, but I'm more into old school metal, and like modern metal has a lot of screaming, which is super not like I kind of hate. Really hate screaming.
Yes.
So it's almost like I would rather ride at the ×8 Fury before the vocals kick in, because that's where like all the music's in, like because they layer in the different instruments and parts and all of that. The more Fury you have, and then 16's the vocals, and I'm like, can we just? I know I get like half the score, but I just can we pull back on the vocals? Because I don't know.
Can you just go into settings and change that? Like, you can just like turn down vocals.
Not that I saw.
No idea.
But I mean, and like there's some clean vocals in it too. Like it's
Stygian one.
Yeah, the Stygian one has some clean vocals. So like and for the most part, I kind of tune out the screaming anyway, because you're just a lot to focus on otherwise. So it's kind of easy
to get in the zone. Like the music's there, and you're along for the ride for the most part, and you're just kind of like just beating your head to that beat. It's I don't know, I haven't clicked with a music game like this before. Like usually it's like, okay, this is cool, but this one like I'm very into, and I'm not like a huge metal fan. I definitely enjoy it, but it's not something I go out of my way to typically listen to. So it's been, the fact that it clicked has been pretty cool. It makes me want to explore these particular artists, with the exception of Surge, because that's System of a Down. And
you're a big System of a Down fan.
Well, no, I mean I listened to it, so I just the other ones I wasn't as familiar with.
He doesn't need to investigate System of a Down, because he has previously investigated System of a Down, and he found that he liked it.
That's true.
Yeah, and it has the torment system too, which was kind of cool. I don't know if you've done any of those yet.
So I got through I forget which level, like where they start introducing angels. Spoiler alert, they introduce angels in the demon game, like of course.
What? Fifth, maybe.
Yeah, so I got to that point and then started doing torments.
Yeah, and the torments are basically you unlock sigils that, like, one of them's like you can't go lower than 4x, and you start the level with 16x if you max it out. Because I've done all the torments, all the levels, I beat it, and now I'm just kind of like going through and playing more.
Didn't the game only drop like yesterday?
Thursday.
15th, so 2 days ago. But yeah,
Jesus Christ.
I mean, it is
I've not played
short,
Hunt in a couple days, so
he needs
wow.
All of
to
his
be
time
fair,
raging at Hunt.
to be fair, my usual duos partner, his outlet in his living room started smoking, so we haven't been able to play Hunt. But
smoking kills. It
Use a
should
different outlet. What's the problem?
Yeah, give it some documentation.
Yeah. Okay, so because if I remember right, isn't it like 10 to 12 levels, 10 to 12 songs? Like each level is a song.
It was, I would say, if I didn't do the torments, it's about 4 to 5 hours in total.
Yeah.
If you just go through the levels. I'm definitely going to try out like the harder difficulties and stuff like that too. But it is, a lot of people there were a couple sites that gave it a 7 because of that. And I was like, I mean, I get it, but it is,
you're missing the point.
The length of a game doesn't fucking matter.
It is perfectly crafted. Like, they had a vision for this game, and they absolutely executed on it.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
now they're offering mod tools to just bring other songs in. So to me, that's really cool. I don't think any other game
see some like Taylor Swift and Katy Perry.
Seabat. It's gonna be Seabat.
You're joking, but I would fuck it. Like, being able to play
Jeremy
Teenage
Renner.
Dream on this that would fucking slap, dude.
Wouldn't that
Like,
be
as long as
awesome? Like,
as long as it's a high enough BPM, you're good, you know.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I feel like giving it a low score because the length kind of misses the point. Because I think if you put any rhythm game on paper, the game is as long as the total track time of the songs in the game, right?
Yeah.
And I think if there are only 10 to 12 songs in this game, you're looking at maybe what, hour and a half, 2 hours at most ish, whatever, right? Like, that's missing the point, because the whole idea is you play through these again, you get better at rhythm gaming it again. Like, no one plays Beat Saber, they only play each song once. They're like, yep, I got my Beat Saber fix. Like, that's not how Beat Saber works, you numbnut. Like, you play through each song again, you get better, you bump up the difficulty, and then you get the high score on the next difficulty, and so on, until you
Well,
get
and then-
better and you feel better
And then
about how you're
the
doing.
modding community on Beat Saber is unreal
Yeah.
to the
Mhm.
point
I
that
cannot wait.
people have created like in-game browsers so
Yeah.
that you don't even have to leave the headset to go and find and download whatever song. You just do it all in headset now.
Mhm.
And
I mean, I'm just talking about even
Atlas.
the core experience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're playing these songs over and over.
mhm.
And there's
Gotta
just
do
so much depth to it too, in terms of like, you're not just shooting. Like, you have multiple guns, you've got abilities, you've got you can do skill combos, and you hit one of the shards and take out a bunch of them at once, you get a
Mhm.
bonus for that. And
Yeah.
headshots and not getting hit, like, there's opportunity for you to perfect. I think there were a couple people on Twitter that kind of were like, this is like neon white for me, in terms of I'm just playing it over and over again, trying to get better.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, I think the point where it really clicked for me is, so the shotgun is very like orally satisfying, like hearing it, because you can only shoot it on every other beat, but the cock happens on that off beat, right? So it's like boom, boom, and it's its own fucking metronome if you do it right, which feels
Yep.
really good. And then you start layering in, like, okay, I can dash every time I cock the gun. And then so like you're boom, dash, right? And like that starts feeling like a rhythm. And you build your own rhythm, and then you start layering more things on top of that. And once you build that intrinsic rhythm for one weapon, it's so easy to build it for the rest, where you like really feel it, to the point where, because like you can quick reload a gun similarly to like Gears of War, if you hit it right? Like you hit the reload button again on a certain beat, and at first you're going to miss it a few times, you're getting used to the system, but afterwards it's going to be like natural, like flow state level, like I know when to hit reload, like I know exactly the beat,
yeah, that I think that like the layers of everything, just from the way the weapon reloads to your dash to like how you can layer a bunch of actions in a short period, it's like easy to do but hard to master.
Mhm.
And that's kind of where I want to get is like mastering that, and then seeing like, okay, how high of a score can I get?
Yeah. Like, I think my favorite so far is the crossbow, because when you get into the rhythm for the crossbow, it's so
Oh,
satisfying. You're just like boom, boom, rest, reload, boom, boom, rest, reload. Like it's so good. It's so good.
Definitely try it. I mean, even if you're not a huge music person, I think the gameplay elements have enough to it that like it is very satisfying.
Well, it sounds like it's the first one. Like, there's been a few games that have tried to do this whole marry and FPS with music kind of thing, where you are going with the beat. This feels like the first one that like really nailed it. Well, not to say the other ones were bad, but this one like really got it.
I think they really took the right route in terms of how they built it, and then I'm sure the artists had input as well.
Mm.
It probably also positively impacted it. They weren't just bringing in, one sound designer or whatever. You're pulling from artists from like 7 different bands,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. And each of them, the music and the level itself just kind of mesh well too.
Mhm.
Like, it just, that particular song makes sense for that level after a bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's also it's a very metal game, as in like, yep, hellscapes, demons, like super, like this is an 80s metal album cover brought to life kind of
Slayer.
thing. Yeah. It's very
Yeah.
much that. So it all fits what it's going for. Like, it had one grand vision and is executing on like all 8 cylinders with it, you know?
Don't you wish more games would just do that instead of we need to do more things? Be like, nah, have your central idea and just fucking run with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's what all-
refine one thing, like really refine
Yeah.
one thing and release that.
Well, that's what's so like. This is going to be a really weird game to compare it to in a sense. But that's one of the things that I really loved about Super Mario Odyssey was that they had the idea of Cappy, and they just like, how many fucking ideas can we do with this?
Right.
And that's what they did, and that was the innovative part of the gameplay. Because otherwise, the jumping around as Mario is largely the same.
Yeah, same as 64.
They just added Cappy in, and they just ran the ideas not into the ground, but they just, all right, well, how many iterations of this central idea can we do? And I think that something like Hellsinger doing that with its central idea is what more game designers should realize. Like, do that more often, and it turns out really well a lot of times.
Yeah, well, because I think the central point that makes it work so well is that, you know, like I said earlier, you can shoot the guns at any time, but it's when it's on beat that it A, does the most damage, but B, also gets an effect, right? So like you can still do it if you're not hitting it on the beat, but you won't be able to kill even the most basic mobs because your guns barely do damage, right? But like the shotgun, for example, not only does it do way more damage on beat, but it has a huge area of effect, right? Or like the crossbow explodes when it hits.
When you get that instant gratification too, where if you miss the beat, it's gray numbers. If you hit the beat, it's these big orange, you know, score numbers, as well as the thing pulsing up. So like you get this visual
like instant feedback.
Yeah, instant feedback that just serotonin.
Yeah, it's like visual feedback, it's gameplay feedback. Like you will play better and do better if you hit on beats. So like you start thinking more of it as a rhythm game than a shooter, but then you have to remember I need to move and jump around and dash around like it's a shooter. So it's a good stuff.
The bosses are pretty tough. They've each got like unique aspects to their fights. So there's a lot of enemy variety that doesn't really get old. I don't know what the difference is with the harder difficulty. So I'll be curious to see if there's anything else kind of thrown in the mix with that as well.
I will say that's one thing I'm kind of about is the bosses, because it's the same boss model for all of them, right? Like it doesn't look that different between
Which
them.
I get because it's an aspect of the main
demons.
thing. So it's kind of just the head with the wings and that's about it. So like I get it's like these are parts of me. But they were at least different. It wasn't like fighting the same thing over and over again. And the last one was pretty tough.
Agreed. Yeah. Well, I haven't beaten it yet, but I look forward to playing more of it. Stretch, you've been playing a demo for Wo Long, Fallen Dynasty.
Yeah, I've been doing my once a year dive into seeing whether I do or do not like Souls likes.
What's the answer this year?
The answer this year is I think that this has got me the closest so far. That I really dig. The combat's really fun. It's fast. It's fluid. There's a whole bunch of options to take. You've got to jump, double jump, light attacks, strong attacks. There isn't really a sneak mechanic in the game. The closest you can get to a sneak is just like
walking,
lightly moving the control stick or walking while blocking. But I really dig the magical abilities you get. The terrain is quite multi-leveled. That you can find your way to like double jump, hit a wall, and scale a bit higher. That can give you advantages in combat, a better lay of the land, or just better to sneak up on people. And there's also a whole lot of, in the hour, 2 hours that I've had time to play it so far, there's a lot of loot that gets thrown at you as well. Different weapons, different weapon rarities, different weapons with like pluses, minuses, as well as equipment, armor and gear. But then also the stuff that like everyone will know playing Souls games. Like, you go have the equivalent of bonfires, which are just places that you raise up a flag. There's, some special enemies. I kind of stopped playing after getting absolutely decimated by a giant Thunderbird thing. I think that's I've forgotten its name.
Is that like that level 20 thingy at the top
Yeah.
of the mountain? Yeah.
Yeah. And then I thought, okay, I'm getting destroyed by this. Let me go back. And I fought the giant tiger thing that I avoided the first time, the Baihu, and that fucking decimated me too.
So a Souls-like experience.
Yeah, pretty much like having full health and then getting stuck in a 4-hit combo by a boss and being dead is about how that went. In terms of like the mob enemies and stuff, I had a lot of fun. There was some really cool moments that like I'd be making my way up a passage and there'd be an enemy standing like 20 feet ahead of me, facing away, doing absolutely nothing. And I'd be like, haha, I'm going to sneak up on it. For a different enemy to lunge at me from behind a wall.
Oh yeah, to like sneak up on you.
The bum baiting absolutely fucking got me. But that's one of the moments that like, now that I know that's there, I was able to hop over the wall instead and just silent kill both of them.
Nice.
So it's like a good level of, we'll trick you, but we'll only trick you once.
Right. Well, and then if you fall for it again, it's your fault.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's fun. I'll probably put some more time into it, level up a bit more, and get more shit going on before I go and try to take on any of those legendary beasts, because they suck. But it was cool. A very open demo as well. The landscape is pretty ridiculous and honestly a little bit hard to navigate. It's just like we're going to drop you in the middle of a 3 or 4 tiered rocky waste with bridges and this and that and some camps and stuff.
Yeah.
Can you leave messages that say secret ahead and finger
butthole? Yeah.
I don't know about messages. You can already like recruit people, and like you can use tokens to recruit NPCs and stuff. So I did spend some time rolling around with a equivalently leveled NPC because they seem to scale to be a little bit under where you're currently at.
So they're a meat shield.
Yeah, well, no, they're actually pretty useful. Because everyone's combat is so much faster. Just,
right.
Being able to quickly get 2 people and focus on one enemy, you can dispatch people pretty fucking quickly.
Yeah, I played a bit of the demo too, not as much. I think I only played like half hour or so. Kind of funnily enough, I don't feel like this is a Souls-like. I feel like it's.
Oh no!
It doesn't quite hit
drama
the same.
fight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't quite like it as much. I mean, it's fine, and it's like early, right? Like this isn't the final build or anything, so.
Then I might like it.
But that might be you not liking it because it isn't Souls enough, and me liking it because it is less Souls.
Yeah, exactly, right. But there were like little things, it felt like the heal animation takes a really long time. I don't know if you feel that way, but it takes like absurdly long to the point where
it's like a good 3-4 seconds.
Yeah, like you're not even going to use it in a fight, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of it, right? And there's parts of it that do feel a little floaty in a way, but I do really like the system they have for, I forget what they call it, but it's a bar that has 2 sides. It's like basically your mana.
Yeah,
I forget what they call it exactly, but so like if you want to do a spell, you can do it because you start at 0 in the middle, but then it eats up into the negative. So then you have to wait to like recharge it, I think. But then if you keep doing attacks, it charges it up into the positive, which gives you a wider pool to pull from for your mana, which is like, that's kind of an interesting system to throw in.
And that's even like the gods that you can summon. You can either summon your god to attack and do damage, or you can summon them to buff you and your party. So it's a lot of, they're kind of really setting players up to be a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Versus the kind of pigeonholing that sometimes happens in other Souls games, I think. Like working towards that like optimal build.
Yeah, agreed. But I mean, it's still early to like really give any definitive like judgments. I'm still very curious to see where it goes because I think it could be cool. I think it's just like the little things that I feel like there's just one too many little things that kind of bother me where I didn't feel like I saw the bird thing. I noped out of the way because I know like I was only like level 10 or whatever. I forget what it's like, Valor or something they call it. There's a lot of stats and systems in this game, but I only had 10 and he was 20, and I'm like, I'm not gonna fight that yet. I'll wait. Yeah,
Do we have a release date for it?
23, right? 2023.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah,
We got some time.
yeah. Like I don't think there's a hard window or anything for it. Yeah. Wolong Fallen Dynasty. I mean, the demo's out right now on PS5 and Xbox if you'd like to check it out as well. I mean, it's free for everyone. So
Yeah,
feel
it's
it for
free.
yourself.
I think it's only until the 25th of September, though.
yeah, it's like a timed.
Yeah.
It's like almost end of this week or so. You have I've been playing a bit of the Harvestella demo. That
One of the
not Harvest
50
Moon.
farming sims shown.
One of the 50 farming sims shown at the Nintendo thing.
Yeah.
Harvestella is all right. It's okay. It's a lot of it's a lot of visual novel right here at the beginning. You know, a lot of setting up the world and all that. And
Well, it's a Square Enix game.
yeah, and I think it feels more RPG than farming. Like it feels like they're adding the farming as a system as opposed to farming being the main thing.
Oh no.
And I'm trying to still figure out how I feel about it because the combat is okay. It's very simple. You know, you mash one button to attack. And that's kind of it so far. But I mean, I imagine it gets more complicated.
That's okay.
It was okay. I mean, very meh. But there looked like a lot of UI things where there's going to be more to the combat later, I think. So I'm not trying to pass.
So.
Yeah, I'd hope so too, right? But it's very Square Enix where they're throwing a lot of like big ideas, like you meet someone who looks dead and you save them and they need to rest at your place and they're like in red armor and everyone in town is like they're evil, they're the omens or whatever, like they're the evil people, we're scared of them, so we're going to hide them away at your ranch so no one sees them. And then when they recover, there's just a cute anime girl in the suit and they reveal they're a time traveler and they've come from the future to warn you about things, but they're also very tsundere and they don't want to talk to you and they hate you. But it's just a
How many crystals have you encountered?
There's a really big one. There's the big crystal, right?
Oh.
Yeah, so I think this is definitely going more for an RPG story where farming is one of the mechanics. Like, I don't think this is something you're going to go to like when you go to Stardew Valley, yes, there's like a story there if you want it, like with the community center and all that, but you can also just treat it as your like cozy farming sim game, right?
So it's a little bit more like, what's that other farming game that's like very much more a JRPG?
Rune Factory?
Yeah, Rune Factory.
I mean, kind of, but I feel like Rune Factory can also still be that cozy farming sim. Like it has the story, but none of it's ever urgent enough where like you have to do it. Harvestella so far feels like there's a lot of that, a little more urgency to the story where that's your main focus and the farming is just a way to get money.
Yeah, do you think
from
that
what
means
Isaac's told me, it's definitely not like there's not a ton of there's no romance, at least in the demo, and limited side quests. So
I love that that's something that we've come to expect with farming games.
Yeah.
Who can I romance?
I mean, that's been a staple for like 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's usually a key component. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess that just shows my my lack of knowledge of farming games.
The early Harvest Moons, that was always a big part of the game.
Yeah, it's a big thing. Who would you marry, right?
Yeah.
I'm still going to play a bit more of it to get a good feel for it, but I do feel a little more cautious about it, I think. At first I was really excited. Now I'm like, because there's a lot of loading screens too. So I'm definitely not getting it on the Switch. Like it's one of those games where you load from the overworld, you load into the town, and then you have to load into the inn. Like if you want to go to the inn. That's
been one of the best things of like more modern games, is like the killing off of the loading screen as much as possible.
Like this is like once you're in the inn and you want to talk to someone in a room, you need to load into the second floor and then load into the room and then load out of the room, then to the first floor, then outside.
Oh my Lord.
Like there's a loading screen between everything, and when it's the Switch,
that's such an old school thing.
Yeah, like they're like 5-second loading screens. They're not that long, but when you have that many in a row, you
still have
feel
to watch
it.
A bar.
It's irritating.
Yeah, yeah, you feel it, and
That's
I don't know, maybe it's very like first world gamer problems, I feel like, but it's
I
also
guess.
you notice it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if you see it
it's-
enough, there's definitely like okay,
Yeah,
I've seen this like 73 times. I'm good.
mhm,
Yeah.
exactly.
I know that I can pick things up with X. Thanks.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
you just you might have. I just saw the light go out of Rut's eyes. All that you said.
with our
All,
Harvestella.
all of his calculations.
See, I'm hearing different from other people, so
Yeah, and I think
Uh,
Harvestella is still something to keep an eye on. And I think like on PC it'll do a lot better because those loading screens are like super fast, and you know I'm barely in it. I'm like maybe 5 days in or so. So like, you know, there's so much more to Harvestella.
I've got a couple people scoping it out for me that think it's pretty good. So guides.
That's all. That's all it is. That I think does it for this week's huge episode of the TechRaptor podcast.
Huge?
Man. Huge. I mean, it's over an hour for sure. It's longer than our usuals.
Okay. Huge is just a weird. I don't know.
Okay, slightly longer then. Is that
Okay.
better for you? Yeah.
I
Yeah,
can't
we're all
wait for people to see
accuracy
our
here.
reactions to half of the bullshit that we say.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please feel free to like and subscribe here on YouTube and leave a comment down below if you remember what site Otten was talking about earlier.
I think Rut knows now.
Let us know
Oh my
in the
God.
comments down below or at the comments on our site. If
Actually,
you are
don't type the name of the website down
yeah,
there.
don't actually type the name.
I would
Maybe
rather not.
abbreviate it.
I don't even want to abbreviate it.
Hey, what was your favorite announcement from TGS? That's what you should comment down below. Comment nothing else,
Yeah.
just what games you enjoyed seeing.
Yeah, let us know which
What have we
JRPG
done?
from the past 10 years you're excited to play on Game Pass in the next few months.
Or which farming sim looks the simmiest.
Yeah, or which job from various day life you're most excited to play.
I want to be a chef. Is that a job? I
Maybe.
don't know. I mean,
I
that's
no idea.
That's very part of various day life. There are chefs. So it'd
Good.
be inaccurate title if I can't be a chef.
Very immersive it would be, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much for listening. And if you want more of us, we are always posting news, reviews, and features at techraptor.net, the only site you should be typing in the comments. And we will be back. This show will be back next
Maybe.
Monday. See you then, maybe. Bye.
Getting canceled.
We are getting canceled.